to have a new program that we'll be really sharing with all of you tonight, which is called, we call it SWAU, SWAU, School Within a University. So again, thank you for joining us. We have an hour together, but the presentation part of it will be shorter, and then we'll have some time for some questions as we go along. So again, welcome, and here we go. I will introduce a couple of our people that are joining us tonight, and I will do that after we have the land acknowledgement, acknowledging that our learning tonight and our sharing is taking place on the unceded and unsurrendered Algonquin land. We thank the Algonquin people for hosting us and recognizing their enduring presence on this land. So tonight, joining us with this presentation, I've introduced myself. We also have Susan Burho, and Susan is a Carleton University instructor. She will be sharing some of what our students could expect with this program. I also have Megan Malbuff. Megan will be one of the SWAU teachers, School Within a University, and she is also the experiential learning lead for the OCDSB. We also have Ramsey Shuck. Ramsey is the guidance and pathway leads for the OCDSB. Ramsey has been the one letting everybody in, and he will be monitoring the chat. So as we go along, if you do have questions that you want to ask, please enter them into the chat, and Ramsey will add in or interrupt or answer your questions in the chat as well. We do have time at the end that if there were questions that weren't answered during the presentation, that we will be able to address those as a collective. And we will follow up with some information that you will be able to find on the website, the OCDSB website, where you found this information. So there will be a FAQ that you can go back to refer to at a later date. This presentation is also being recorded. So please note that, and you will be able to have access to this information through the recording as well, if you are interested later on. Finally, we have Dr. Reg Laverne. And Dr. Laverne is the OCDSB Superintendent of Program and Learning Innovation. So we're happy to have him here joining us as well. So thank you everyone from the OCDSB team for being here, and thank you to all who are joining as guests. All right, so the first thing is, what is SWAU? I'll give you a little bit of background. Historically across the province, there is a program called SWAC, School Within a College. And that program is intended for students who are early leavers to secondary school. So for one reason or another, the traditional school program didn't work for those students, so that they are finishing their high school graduation, their OSSD, at Algonquin College, working through high school credits. So they would get credits through the college as well as through Ontario Secondary School Diploma. And that's what we're used to across the province. And there's most of our boards that we share information with have that same type of program. This one is unique, the School Within a University. This is the second one of these SWAUs in the province of Ontario, but it really is the first one that will operate the way that we are operating it. So we're incredibly proud to have the inaugural class starting in January with 10 students and looking at what the university experience could be. So that's a little bit, and we'll get into some more of the details as we go through this conversation tonight and the sharing with Susan from the Carleton University and Megan. That will give you some more of the real meat of the program. That's where the origin came from it. The SWAU program, as we will be rolling it out, it will follow the schedule of the university program. So semester 2 at the university starts right after the holiday break. So that's when the SWAU program will start. But we'll get to that because I know there'll be lots of questions in terms of how does that work with my current semester, because I'm still wrapping it up at my high school. So Megan will address that in a few minutes. The location itself is really exciting. The location is at Carleton University. This whole intent of SWAU is for students to have an experience to see what university could be. How does it feel to be a university student? How does it feel to be on campus? And is it something that you as a student or you as a parent would like to encourage your student and your child in your household to participate in, to see if it is a pathway option that actually meets the needs of your learning? And sometimes we don't know if it's a right option for a pathway unless we actually have the chance to get out there and experience it. So we're really incredibly lucky to have this. I will say that the creation of this SWAU has been a couple of years in the making between the OCDSB and Carleton University. And I would like to very proudly and with gratitude appreciate that these 10 spaces have been made possible through the alumni of Carleton University. They have determined that this is an important move that we need to make to support students with this experiential learning, and they have funded and provided an opportunity and a space for these 10 spaces. And I will say, going back to being on campus at Carleton, it's not just about the class, but it is the experience. So that will come with all of the other pieces that Carleton would have to offer. So, and again, Susan will be able to speak to that in a little bit. And the courses, there are 2 courses, 2 credits that our students will earn. One of those will be a high school credit that will actually match to what you as a student or what the students need or want as their pathway option. So it's not an easy answer. It's these 2 courses. Every student is going to have the chance to individualize that course based on what their next step plans are. So there really is a very intentionalized and personalized approach to this program. So that's got a little bit of the overriding view of what it is. And I'm going to ask Megan to continue from here.
Hi, everyone. So my apologies. I can't turn off that ding. So if you're hearing it through me, I hope that doesn't annoy you. I actually find that quite pleasant. There's a lot of you here, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. So I'll tell you a couple of the details about the course delivery itself and save some of that for Professor Susan Burho later on. So the course will be delivered on Tuesdays, and we are asking students to show up at around 9, and we'll tell details to the successful students on Tuesdays, a little bit before the class starts. And we have a couple of reasons for that. We want to explore the campus. We want to explore the ESP program that is at Carleton, the Enriched Support Program that is quite close with SWAU and are big partners in this. In fact, Professor Susan Burho is part of that department as well. And there will be a teacher around in the class as well as before. And there's a few reasons for that. Like Jen mentioned, the OSSD course, the course that students will be earning towards their diploma, will vary by student. And so there will be a teacher in there capturing the learning that's happening in the class, as well as what's being submitted as assessment of learning, to use that in a credit that's best for each applicant. Some may be doing the same courses and some will be doing different, and we'll play with that as we roll. Now, university courses tend to end in April, and this one's no exception, but we may keep you past there into May and June, depending on the delivery, depending on the intensity of the course, and depending on what's needed in order to satisfy the OSSD side, or the course for high school that you still need to complete. When we start, and we will be starting in January 9th, which is coming up soon, we will talk about such things as absences, such as what happens when we go on March break, what happens with the end of the semester, and how we can navigate, absences if required. But we'll work with that and work the university and the high school side to make sure that that is all sorted out and as little stress as possible there. Now, another reason why teachers are going to be in the class with the students is because this is an adult course. And so we want to be around should any sensitive information come up, and we will be able to connect with our board social worker if need be, if that's something that needs to happen. So that's a lot of information there to throw at you. Let's move forward. I'm going to stop here because I'd like Jen to talk more about the ideal SWAU student.
Thanks, Megan. So, and saying the ideal, I don't know if we have an ideal SWAU student. We never Is there such thing as an ideal student? Everyone learns so differently. So, including myself, there's no ideal teacher or principal or anyone. So, but what we're looking for and the criteria for this, uh, really, this program is targeted and intended for students who maybe have not seen themselves in a university way. So, for a variety of reasons, we get to grade 11, grade 12, and university hasn't been an interest level, or perhaps achievement hasn't been as high as you would have liked or that you think is suitable for a university piece. But things change, and now there is a passion piece that you would like to move towards university or think you may work towards university. Um, it also may be an area where, it is for students who have been historically underserved. So racialized, marginalized, their, socioeconomics is a barrier to being able to apply for university or thinking that university could be a pathway for you. So really, this is some of the students that we want to give exposure to that there is a potential. There is a potential to try a university pathway that maybe you didn't see yourself in before. And some of that is a fear piece. Could I handle university? Is it something that I'm interested in? Can I handle the workload? Is it something that I will be able to manage with other things that are happening in my life if I'm working? So really it is a taster, right? Is it something that I want to now pursue as a passion piece because I've had a little bit of exposure to it and I know that I can do it and I know that it fits in with my pathway goals. So that is where we're looking towards. So, but that's a very open statement of what that could be. Now, again, we are very limited into the number of spaces that we have this year. But again, if it's something that we see a strong interest, and I would say by the number of families and students that are here today, that's suggestive that there is a strong interest in it. We are hoping to expand it into either additional sections or courses here or additional locations, but that will be a down the line phase. But I hope that answers what this opportunity could look like for some of our students.
So I'll talk quickly about what happens next. So it's a very swift timeline between today and when we start on January 9th. So the application to submit interest closes December 15th at noon. I highly recommend you talk to your student services department and your guidance department to see that step. They'll be your main contact for that step. Once that closes at noon, there'll be a selection process and we need to meet with you, your family, depending on your age, your school contact, which is probably the guidance counselor, but could be somebody else in the school, and one of us, most likely between the 18th and 20th, because we need to get everything ready before our 2-week holiday, and then we start on the 9th. There will be some forms that we need to get out to you as well, and hopefully those permission forms can be signed as soon as possible for both the Carleton side and for the OCDSB side. So it's a very swift process. And when you talk with your student services department, it's probably best to ask if the contact information that they have is up to date to be able to help us out, to be able to contact you and your family.
So one of the reasons that we want to speak to each of you as we make the decisions moving forward is to look at what we do then for the month of January. So Megan, I'm sorry if this is coming up later. Okay. So what do we do in the month of January? Because you really have a couple of weeks before you go into final assessments at your home schools. And we want to be able to work with you because you will be away from your home school every Tuesday for the month for the whole term. And we want to coordinate with your school. So you have a number of options. You could either stay at your home school for second semester. You could also attend at the virtual school, the OCV, through the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board, where you would take your other courses in a virtual reality on the other 4 days a week. So we want to make sure we're personalizing it as closely as we can to what your needs are, what your requests are, and how can we make it work. The other piece is that we want to see if you have an idea what your pathway steps are next, which can help us determine which courses that we're going to link up with this university program. So Professor Burho will be speaking shortly with regards to what the program at Carleton will look like, which program it will look like, and then it will be an attachment to that course as well as your individual needs. So hope that helps.
And speaking of Professor Burho, I think you were in there somewhere.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Susan Burho. I'm the instructor for the course that students would be taking if they enroll in this, this dual credit opportunity. The course I teach is a selected topics in popular culture course. So what we're doing is kind of looking at how do academics analyze popular culture, because that's something that academics do. And popular culture is such a pervasive part of our lives that I think it's useful and illuminating to kind of try and bring those tools to bear on the stuff that we're consuming on such a regular basis. So I look forward to having students in the class. I hope that this pilot that we're trying is something that we can expand going forward in the fall. One of the challenges is financing, because right now Carleton is just waiving the tuition for the 10 spaces in the pilot. And I have yet to see whether that's something that Carleton will continue to do or not. My fingers crossed that that's something that could happen. I know that you know, when the press release went out that this program was happening, there were a lot of departments that got in touch and said, hey, any chance we could participate in this? So if we were able to do that, that would expand the number of courses that we could potentially have students get access to going forward. So fingers crossed that our pilot goes well and the powers that be say, hey, it all looks great, guys, keep going. So that's my hope. The class itself is something that I've been teaching for about 10 years now. I work with the Enriched Support Program on campus, and the Enriched Support Program is sort of a pathway program for students who might not meet traditional criteria to go to university. It gives them students a chance to come in and do first year courses with some supports in order to build up a basis for admission to a degree. So the other students that are in this class are students in the Enriched Support Program. So I think it's going to be a really interesting class. There will be about 60 to 70 students in the class, so it'll be a fair size. That said, we'll have good supports in the class. So we'll have 2 TAs and 2 student mentors. Mentors are former ESP students who are there sort of working with new students in the course, and the teaching assistants, the TAs are there for assistance with assignments and that kind of thing. And I'll also be as needed or desired or whatever, happy to drop by the classroom for me to kind of talk to the students about what I'm expecting from assignments and that kind of thing, and really make sure that expectations are clear for students, there to answer their questions, and maybe kind of build in some office hours to what you guys are doing on campus on those Tuesdays. I think that's all I've got to kind of say for this point, but I'm also really happy to take questions as we kind of move along.
Professor Burho, can I ask a couple things?
Oh, please.
On the sides too.
Yes.
Sorry, can you just repeat the name of the course?
Yes. So it's called Selected Topics in Popular Culture. And I should say maybe a thing or two about the kind of topics that we look at. What we do are case studies each week. So one week we're going to look at the introduction of the Hollywood star system in the 1930s and look at ideas of glamour and how those have sort of traced those throughout history and how they've evolved over time, how those ideas represents, or how those representations, Hollywood glamour and stars and that kind of thing, reflect certain ideas about masculinity and femininity, about consumer culture and that kind of link between consumerism and Hollywood. So we're going to kind of trace that one week to kind of explore those sorts of ideas. Another week, we're going to look at a moral panic around comic books in the 1950s that led to the introduction of a comic code authority, which regulated the content of comic books. And we're going to see how that episode in history tells us something about values in conflict and what happens when new forms of popular culture, or even forms of popular culture that have been around for a while but come under the scrutiny of the press or politicians. What happens when those morals are seen to be in conflict, and what values are being represented by each side in that kind of debate about whether or not popular culture is good for young people, because those sorts of debates have been around throughout history. And we'll trace some of that up into the present and looking at the effects of social media, or the effects of violence in video games on youth, and what the debates around that say. What does the literature tell us, and how do you unpack the kinds of things that you see in the press, or the sorts of comments that people will throw away about the negative effects of popular culture on young people. So we're going to explore some of those ideas, and give students a chance to kind of participate in those discussions, and express some of those ideas in written form as well in some of the evaluations for the class. So.
Wonderful, thank you. And as you're saying those, I'm looking at some of the courses that would naturally align that we have within our diploma pathway. And
Right.
that's like gender studies in the humanities,
Yes.
challenge and change in society, media studies, philosophy. Like there's lots of things that could be a match that we would, but we're going to base that on students, your authentic lived experiences and what you are bringing in from your own external lives outside of school, and how can we connect that to the learning that's happening inside the classroom. So that's
Nice.
wonderful. Professor Burho, what time is the course? Do we have a schedule for that right now?
Yeah, it's Tuesdays, 11:35 to 2:25. Classes always start and end about 5 minutes before or after to give people a chance to run between classes.
That's awesome. Thank you. And as Megan said, we are asking our students to be on campus at 9 o'clock in the morning. And the reason for that is a variety to be able to experience campus life, to go around, to participate in maybe or see what the enrichment support program, the ESP program, could look like. You will have access to the Carleton facilities, so you'll have a chance to really live the life of a student for that day. It's also for academic support. So if you're coming in early and you need some help with the assignment that is not quite ready, or you have questions about it, our teacher and you on some days will be able to be there to support. So it really is that accessibility and a trial of what university could be. So, okay, perfect. I'm going to see if there's anything else in this question bar.
Jen, sorry to interrupt. We've got quite a few questions in the Q&A, so lots of people excited to learn more. Is now a good time to start answering those questions?
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay, perfect. The first question is, how would it work if you go to a non-semestered school where the schedule always changes on a Tuesday?
Well, again, that will be a conversation that we will have with you and your parent or guardian if you are under the age of 18, and the school team that you are, your homeschool team. So it would be guidance or student success teacher, and we will develop that plan based on your needs and what's happening at the school. So there isn't a one answer for that for everyone. It's going to be very fluid, and we will adjust as you need it to make it work for you.
Great. Okay. Will there be an expansion of spaces available in the following session or term, fall, winter 2024?
We don't know at this time. It will be we'll see how this one goes and what we're able to work with Carleton or another university to do an expansion piece. So unfortunately, I can't answer that one quite yet. Fingers crossed, but again, the interest on tonight and what we're seeing in the community and from our students asking questions, it looks like there is a need for this.
Okay. Is it like a Reach Ahead program?
Not really. A Reach Ahead is intended to be graduating earlier or to move in towards a different pathway. This is for students who have really questions about if university is the right pathway for them. So it is an exploration program, if I would be able to deem it or to title it one way.
Okay. Which subjects are available for this program?
Well, that's one that from the Carleton, the selected topics in popular culture will be the program or the course that's offered at Carleton. And then the second course, because it is a dual credit program, is really whatever is individualized for each student based on their own pathway goals and their interests and what they think they might be going towards as their next step.
Great. Is it our responsibility to make up missed classwork from classes on Tuesdays?
Great question. Again, that's a conversation that we want to work with you and your school team for. This is learning that's happening outside of your school, but it's still learning. So our goal, honestly, would be to find things that you are learning at Carleton and with the dual credit program that actually can be attached to courses that you're already doing at your home school. So if you are, writing an essay perhaps, or doing a presentation or some other exploration in your popular culture program that could be matched to a course back at home, we want to be able to have those move between the two programs. So there isn't a one answer for that either. It depends what you're taking this semester and how we can attach the learning.
Okay. For now, is it just the pop culture course?
Yes, for right now, that is the Carleton offering.
Okay. Who is the SWAU program for?
The SWAU program is for students who are looking to see if university is the right pathway choice for them. So again, students maybe who are not sure of their abilities, if they can handle or manage university or will enjoy university. If maybe it was you didn't see yourself as a university student prior to this for a variety of reasons, historically underserved, racialized, marginalized, Indigenous students, students who struggled or have socioeconomic challenges, that not sure about the financial piece, can I afford to go to university? It's a good chance to see if this is an option that would support your next pathway decisions and if you want to go for it.
Okay. Are there fees for the class?
No, there are no fees for this course.
Great.
And I forgot
Sorry,
to
go ahead.
mention that because you're taking a course at Carleton as a Carleton student, you'll also have access to things like the gym and the library and the other student services on campus at the same time. So you're kind of getting that university student experience to some degree while taking that class.
That's so exciting.
Okay. Would there be a way for transportation if there's no possible way for you to make it there otherwise?
Yeah, Presto or LRT passes will be made available to the students selected.
Okay. Let's see. I think this question's been answered. Is this program open to students in earlier grades in high school or only grade 12 students or potential graduates?
Grade 11 students can register as well. They can put their application in. I will say that we will be prioritizing grade 12 students that are looking for the next step at going into university, but grade 11 students can certainly put an application in.
Okay. Is the registration deadline of December 15th for the students currently in grade 12 only? Can grade 11 students register now as well?
Yep, absolutely. But again, the priority will be for our grade 12 students going off to their next step as of June.
Okay. I think this question has been answered a few times now, which was what is the criteria you will use to select students? So can I skip that one, Jen?
I think so.
Okay. Next question. Are there only 60 spots?
I wish we had 60 spots.
Yeah.
Right now we have 10 spots. When Professor Burho is saying 60 spots, there are 60 spaces in the classroom. And I did want to add to that, which is great. So you will be joining Carleton University first year students. So it is a combined class. So we're lucky to have those 10 spaces within that 60 or 70 spots. Maybe next year, Professor Burho, we could have a whole class.
That would be amazing.
But yes, for
Yeah.
right now, there are 10 spaces.
Okay. Is it only the pop culture course or is there another course?
Only the pop culture course at Carleton. The second course will be one that you could be offered through your homeschool, that would be towards your OSSD, your diploma.
Okay. Can you let us know more about the subject? Is it for the arts students or science students who want to go for engineering?
It's for anyone. It's not, Professor Burho, I believe is it in the Arts and Humanities program within its Bachelor of Arts program, I'm assuming?
It is a course within the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences that will transfer to most degree programs. Engineering might be the only tricky one because they have so little room for electives. You'd have to kind of, as you're looking at those programs, see if they would consider it a complementary studies elective, which is something that the one like course outside your field that you're allowed to take as an engineering student. Almost every other discipline, sciences, computer science, that kind of thing, they have space, or business, they have space for arts and social science electives. So it would count in that category. And it is transferable to, you know, a degree program if you were to come to Carleton, or even a degree program if you were to go elsewhere. They'll ask to see the course description and they'll decide whether or not it fits in with whatever it likely count as an elective, because Ontario universities are pretty good about recognizing one another's credits.
Great. Okay. Will the course be primarily lecture format or more discussion based?
Oh, good question. So what I typically do is lecture for a chunk of the class, and then always have some activities that get you guys working with other students in the class, because it would be so boring to have a pop culture course where nobody spoke except me.
I will add as well that Chromebooks will be provided for our students while they're on Carleton campus. So
That's
you
great.
will have access to technology when you are there.
All right. Ooh, look, these questions are fantastic. There's still tons more. So next one is, when attending the university on Tuesday, will students miss their other 3 courses at their high school?
Yes, you will. The intention of being on university campus, because we could have done this through a virtual environment that you would just attend through, you know, like we are doing tonight, but you wouldn't get the exposure to the university, which really is the goal of this, the course content, the learning, and to see if having that experiential learning on a university campus, it's something that works and you are interested in pursuing. So yes, you will be missing your other 3 courses.
Okay, so speaking of which, this next question is, how do they continue with their courses that are already scheduled for Tuesdays starting in January? For example, math and science classes.
Right. So that's where, again, the conversation with the homeschool will be. How do we work towards making sure that you are demonstrating your learning in those other classes? And it may be something that you would have learned in our pop culture class that we can transfer over into your current classes. And other areas, if it doesn't have transferable learning pieces, then I will make the assumption from your homeschool that you will be responsible for making sure that you are demonstrating the learning that's required. But we will be supporting you and the students in that conversation with your homeschool on ways that you could show that you are learning on even when you are away from your homeschool class.
Okay. What is the expected homework load, and will IEPs be applied for any oral projects?
Great question.
Yeah, good question. So there are no oral projects in the course. I'll just say that. There are written. So we have a few things. One is we have weekly quizzes that you do online on the readings. So there are always readings or a documentary to watch for each week's class. And as I say, it's just like 10 multiple choice questions. And the goal of them is really to just keep you on top of the readings. Make sure that you're doing them. You get a lot more out of the lectures if you've done the readings or watched the documentary in advance of the class. So that's on a weekly basis. There's a writing project that's broken down into 3 components: an annotated bibliography, a proposal, and then a final paper that's due at the end of the class. Or at the end of the term. And then there's a final exam. And so if you had IEPs in school for extended time on exams or that kind of thing, you can get that at Carleton while you're here and taking the class. And same with those quizzes that are online. If you let me know, you know, your criteria for your IEP, I'll just extend the time for you on those quizzes according to what percentage of time you would normally get. Did I answer all those questions?
I think
Was
so,
there
but
others? Yeah.
Susan, could you add in how, working with the IEPs and working with your learning styles, how that is also supported through the ESP, the Enrichment Support Program, how they
Right.
nicely tie in together?
Yeah. So one of the things in ESP, we get students with such a variety of backgrounds because for whatever reason, they may have had struggles in high school, and they're kind of getting used to this new learning environment at the university. So what we try and do is build into our courses and into the supports that we offer, that kind of bridging support for like, okay, how do you get a handle on a university course? What are the expectations? Like, what is a professor expecting of you as you start this new class? So I build that into the class itself, and we talk about that from week to week, so that you're not having to guess what I'm looking for in a given assignment or whatever. I'm also very available for like online appointments or in-person appointments. And as I say, I'm really happy to drop by the classes the occasional morning when you guys are in to answer any questions that you may have about the course material. Part of my goal in offering both a combination of lecture and discussion is to kind of work with people's different learning styles, right? It's one thing to try and listen to somebody. The classes are 3 hours in length, right? No one maintains attention for 3 hours in a row. We'll have a break in the middle to try and regroup, and then there'll be opportunities for discussion along like throughout the class, so that if attention is something you struggle to maintain, there's breaks from having to just listen full on. And we'll talk about strategies for, doing academic readings. Like, how do you engage with an academic reading? It can be like, it's drier than, say, reading a novel, right? So we'll talk about, okay, what are some good strategies for maintaining attention during academic readings? And how do you struggle with the new lingo that academic readings are going to introduce you to? Because, academics, they can make things complicated. And so how do we get through that and kind of get what you need out of those readings? And the teaching assistants who are going to be working with us are really excellent. And they'll also be an amazing resource too for students.
Thank you.
And if there's anything more regarding IEPs on top of all of that, that's one of the reasons why we're in Tuesdays before the class, to be able to address and figure those out.
Yeah.
All right, great. If I keep going with the questions, the next one is, would the secondary school credit be at the grade 11 or grade 12 level?
Either or. It depends on what each student needs for either graduation or to build a pathway for their program and their next steps.
Okay. What courses are provided in this program? I think we've answered that, Jen. Yeah. Next question, is this course available for Carleton students as well? If someone decided to go to Carleton next year, could they still be able to take this course?
The course is primarily reserved for students in the Enriched Support Program. So it's mostly those students who get priority. If there are seats left over, say, at the end and the course doesn't fill, then I can kind of like open it up to other students, but sadly it usually fills.
Okay. Popular course.
There are some really fun pop culture courses at Carleton, not just mine. So if anybody's interested, like, my email address is something that you guys can share, and I'm happy to point you in the direction of some great courses. There was one on the history of representations of zombies in film, which I want to take. It sounds great. Actually, one of our lectures is on zombies. So.
Okay, I'm joining the course, Susan.
It's fun.
Next question is priority for selection given to grade 12s since it's their last year of high school and won't have the chance for the next session or school year? Jen, I believe we answered that question, that priority will be given to grade 12s.
Correct.
Okay. Next question, is this program suitable for students who wish to pursue STEM?
It can be, as Susan was saying earlier, it would be one of the electives in a STEM program.
Okay. Next question, that is an incomplete question. Let's see here. Can you apply for the program for the experience even if that course isn't geared to your pathway?
Absolutely. Like, yes, we're interested in your learning for sure and how we can connect that to what you want to do. But that's half of it. The other half of it is the experience piece. Is university something that you want to pursue and you haven't thought of it as an option that you would have been interested before or thought you could do? So absolutely.
All right. This is maybe just a repeat. What time again is the class on Tuesday?
11:35 to 2:25 is the class, but we want you on campus by 9 o'clock.
Perfect. Is it possible for an adult high school student to register for the SWAU program?
Yeah, absolutely. You can certainly apply. Again, the priority will be for students in grade 12, but that doesn't preclude adult high schools students to register. And we'll see where we go from that one. A lot of it will depend on our numbers as well, but absolutely. It gives also a sense of what we need to offer in the future. So thank you.
We have a question. Can I have a spot? You can apply for a spot.
Woo-hoo! Isn't it exciting? I think it's very cool.
Yeah. Okay. If I know I'm going to university and I know what program I want to do, is this program still good for me?
If you already have a university pathway set and you've already done your OUAC applications and you have everything lined up, it's probably not the program for you at this point.
Okay. Will this credit be counted as a university credit when we do our undergraduate?
Not at this time. The SWAU is not completely recognized. We're working towards that, but it will be. I will be 2 high school credits.
Okay.
Well, actually, Carleton will recognize it as a course. Yeah,
Well,
and
never mind.
yeah, and you'll get a Carleton transcript as well that says that you've completed that course. So in fact, you can present that to other universities even if you don't end up at Carleton.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
Sorry, my mistake on that one. It won't be on, you will get 2 credits on your transcript for graduation. The Carleton University one won't show necessarily as a Carleton one on your transcript, but it will be on your transcript for Carleton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can we choose to do a course instead of the pop culture course if we are potentially looking towards a different career option like engineering?
Not at this time. We have the pop culture course is the only offering at this point.
Okay. Will the course, whether it's the pop culture one or the other, just be personalized to each student?
Nope, the pop culture one is the Carleton University one with a set syllabus or a set course outline and expectations. The second course that we will be matching will be based on each student's needs. So that one will be personalized by choice.
Okay. Can I access the Indigenous Student Center whenever I want?
Yeah, when you're registered in the course, in fact, the classroom that you guys have is in the same building as the Indigenous Student Center, which is really beautiful.
Perfect. Can universities see this on my OUAC application?
No,
Okay.
no, they will not.
Registration is online. Yes, registration is online. Let's see. Next question. Will this course and grade appear on a Carleton transcript if they decide to attend Carleton later?
Yes.
Perfect. Would you have to apply to get accommodations or are IEPs valid for the course? I think you explained that already.
Yeah. I'm just gonna work with the IEPs that you have. We do have great services for students with disabilities where if you're coming to Carleton, we'll talk about that, how you would register with them for future. But the registration process can take a while and getting updated documentation can take a while. So I'll walk you through all that, but I'm just going to implement whatever the school says. So.
Awesome.
Okay. Can grade 12 graduates apply? That is to say, if they are on a gap year.
No, the requirement is that you have not yet graduated.
Okay. Next question. If you fail, does anything happen?
That's a good question. So because there is a Carleton transcript that's generated for the course, you would get an F if you failed to withdraw from the class. What we're going to do, though, is be really flexible on that withdrawal deadline. So we'll be talking with Megan and, the SWAU teachers to kind of trace how you're doing throughout the course. And if you're in danger of failing, then we would withdraw you from that aspect of it, as opposed to letting you earn an F on your transcript, because we don't want that.
All right. Next question. When will the second course, bracket individual focused course, start? And is the December 15th deadline for both courses?
So the second course, it's not going to be a linear course, if you know what I mean, where you do a Carleton course and then you do the second course. It's going to be done in conjunction, because your learning can be recognized for a variety of courses by doing one task or one set of learning. So we're trying to connect a number of different pieces and really making an authentic learning piece. So you may learn something with, Susan's class about zombies, and then we want to match you in a creative writing class. So can you take what you learned in the pop culture piece and then apply it into a short fictional piece? So you'd have those two connections, or something that you're interested in from your culture or your background that you can make your own connection to the learning in the pop culture class and do a demonstration of learning. So it's going to be a combination of those two pieces, which is also why you will be on campus for that 9 o'clock piece, because you'll be working on that other demonstration of learning in there as well.
All right. Let's see here. Does being in a program such as the International Baccalaureate impact any steps of the process? Workload, interaction and conversation with school to coordinate the university experience?
Well, I would suggest if you are in an IB program, and again, this is a very generalized statement, that you have an intention to attend university, and that is your designated pathway. So it would not necessarily be the right program for you, because you've already identified that as your pathway goals.
All right. Is this a program that can help me get into Carleton better?
I'll let Susan answer that one.
Well, possibly. I mean, really, what I'm thinking is that students who do well in this, it's going to work to your advantage for an application. Obviously, you've done it in one Carleton credit and done well in the class. But let's say you're a student who wasn't on track for that university pathway, and you might not have all 6 URM level courses. It could also be a pathway to our enriched support program. So students who do well in it and have a recommendation from the teacher, we could admit them to the enriched support program at the end of it if they're not going to meet the traditional requirements to go directly into a degree. And with ESP, I mean, you're starting your first year courses as well. It's not like a Q year or a pre-university courses. You're starting first year courses. You're just doing so with some transition support.
All right. How is the OCDSB course handled?
Well, by handled, I'm not sure. I'm just going to make a guess here, but it will follow along with the expectations that we would work with if you were in a school. So the assessment and evaluation protocols and procedures follow along. We will be using evidence records for the learning between the two courses and capturing of the demonstrations of learning, and then the marks and the entries for that will be done the same way that you would find in your own home school. So I'm not sure if I didn't answer that. Can you add another question later on to expand on that piece?
All right. Next question. Will we live on the campus on Tuesdays?
Not overnight. No, you will be there all day long. You do have access to all of the campus facilities. So you will have a student card, you will have access, you'll be university students on Tuesdays.
All right. Is there a limited amount of absences that can be taken because my IB exams are in May?
The program goes till April. And then we'll be looking at whether you will remain with the campus protocol on Tuesdays, or if you will be back at your home school on Tuesdays. So that shouldn't affect the exams in May. But again, if you are an IB student, this may not be the program for you.
Okay, will this credit be counted towards my Ontario diploma?
Absolutely.
Great. Is the dual credit system only at Carleton or other universities as well? Are these credits transferable?
Right now, Carleton is the only SWAU program that we have available for us. And yes, those credits are transferable.
Okay. I have 4 courses planned for next semester, one of which is tech design, which I have to physically be there in the wood shop. How will it work if I would be accepted?
That will be a conversation again with you and your homeschool to see how we can capture the demonstration of learning when you are not in the shop. But again, it will have to be a personal decision if that's something that you are willing to be away from a class to commit fully to being a university student on Tuesdays.
Unfortunately, I joined the meeting late. Will the recording be made available to watch later?
Absolutely. We will get it up on the website for you within a couple of days.
Does the result or credit show in OSSD mark sheet?
Yep, it will show up on your graduation summary, and it will also appear in your Zello whenever the final marks are entered.
All right. Will I be able to do this in grade 10?
Not quite. Hold on and keep watching for more opportunities as you get closer to as you get into grade 11 and 12, and we're hoping we can expand on this by the time you get there.
Could we see a course outline, for example, exam dates, for example, or is it more flexible or personalized?
It isn't more flexible or personalized. There will be set due dates. That said, I am a soft touch for an extension, so I will say so out loud in the class. You won't be the only ones who hear that. So yeah, we'll have set deadlines. I'm still touching up the course outline, but I'll give you guys like maybe tomorrow. I'll send you my draft.
Thank
All
you.
right.
And the exams will follow in the standardized exam period at Carleton University. So if you're looking for that piece, you can go online and check Carleton's exam block right now, and you'll be able to it's in that area.
Yeah, our last class I think will be April 9th, and then the exam period follows that. It's like the 11th to the 20 something or othereth. And they won't tell us right away when the exam is being held. It's usually in February that they release the exam schedule for April. So then we'll find out what the exam date is.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I think we've covered this one, but given students would be missing out on other courses, would this program be more appropriate for grade 12 graduates?
No, the intent is for students who have not yet graduated. So if you have graduated already from grade 12, unfortunately it doesn't apply to you, but it could very well be for students currently in grade 12. Yes.
Right. It will be a 4U or 4M course in OSSD?
Likely a 4M course for the pop culture course in the OSSD, and the second course will again be a personalization based on student pathway and needs. We will be taking a look closer when we get how the alignment between the course outline from Carleton works with our OSSD.
Okay, will I be able to use these credits in other provinces or universities abroad, such as Switzerland and the United States?
I can't speak to outside the country, although I have to say that most universities recognize one another's credits. They'll probably ask you for a course outline. So you want to hang on to your copy of the course outline if you end up in the class and just present that course outline along with the Carleton transcript when you apply. I'd say outside of the province within Canada, yeah, odds are pretty good that it'll be recognized, provided you're going into a program that has room for some electives, right? And US probably pretty similar. Beyond that,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Next question. Oh my gosh, there are so many here. Taking 2 credit courses with this pilot program, would the credits be transferable to... we just answered that question.
The only thing there is it's only 1 university credit, not 2. There's 2 credits total, but 1 is university and one is the high school one.
Okay. Next question. What about attendance on Tuesdays in homeschool?
If you are attending at SWAU, we will be communicating with your homeschool that you are recognized as being in attendance at school.
All right. This one is, let me ask what about what the medical program is like?
We can't answer that one tonight. It doesn't really apply to this program.
Yeah. What exactly is pop culture? What topics will be discussed?
I think. No, go ahead.
I touched on it a little bit, but it's really mass-produced consumer popular culture. So things like movies, music, comics, that kind of thing. So we're looking primarily at American popular culture. So it will be grounded in a particular historical moments in America up into the present. We'll also look at some social media. We'll look at humor. We'll look at Miley Cyrus, kinds of things.
I keep telling you, Susan, I'm going to be there. Okay, next question. If I apply in grade 11 and don't get in, will I be able to apply again in grade 12 and get in?
Hopefully we can offer it again next year. That will be determined. Yeah. And Ramsey, I'm just scrolling through some of these questions, knowing that we're already just before the 8 o'clock period, and we committed to people that we would go to 8 o'clock. What we'll do, folks, is to go through, keep adding the questions in. We will go through the information, and if there's things that we haven't answered that we can put into an FAQ that's available for you, then we will do so. But I think going through them, we've answered most of the questions that have already come up already. So, and Megan, if you don't mind, if you could, we haven't put a slide up there with our email addresses. Would you mind just putting that up there so that if they want to contact any of our team, that we can do that and answer any specific questions?
Absolutely. Give me about 30 seconds.
That's okay. And looking, what is a fee? Again, there is no fee. That is, again, thank you to our gracious alumni support at Carleton that is supporting this. They're seeing the value in giving opportunities to students who did not see themselves earlier in a university pathway. Okay. Anything else? Dr. Laverne, if you are still here, is there anything else that you wanted to add that maybe we missed? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
I'm so excited to see how many people are here and the number of questions that came from this, because this is giving us a lot more information to go back and think about and look at even more programs as we move into the future. I'm really excited for this program, and I'm so appreciative to Professor Berhow and Carleton University for creating this. We know that there are people out there who aren't sure if university is something that they want to do, that they would be successful at. This is your chance. This is an opportunity to try it out, to go on campus and really live the experience. The experience is a word you heard Jen speak of a number of times. And I think that part is so important to try it out in a way that's safe, and that you have a really good wraparound support system in place. So I'm just excited for how many people were here, and I'm really excited to see the experience the students get to have through this. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think Megan's just about to pop it up on the screen here that you can contact us through email. Okay.
Are you able to see that?
Not quite, but nope, just got your M. Might take a minute, and that's okay. But we will have it on the board website, the OCDSB.ca website as well, and you can find that information there. And we're happy to answer any questions. Please note the December 15th deadline for applications is a hard deadline. We don't have a lot of extra time in order to, not yet. It's okay, we'll have it on the website for you. So yes, it is a hard deadline. We have a week to make sure that we have students well set up to be able to transition to the Carleton program as of January 9th, when we return back to school after the holidays. So unfortunately, if you miss that deadline, we won't be able to take any late applications. Okay, so please be very mindful of that. The link again is on the board website for the application. We would strongly encourage you again to connect with your student services team to see if they can support or help you or answer any other questions. They have this information. They've been provided with this, so they are able to support you as well. And again, we're here to answer the questions as much as we can between now and the 15th. All right. Okay. Well, on that, I will say thank you so much. And I echo Dr. Laverne's comments earlier. We had over 400 participants coming in tonight to join us to ask these questions, which is unreal. We're so excited and looking at it and really wanting to build the program that is going to best serve your needs and to give you the chance to be a university student and see what that looks like and feels like. And, you know, and then you get to tell us. The other part of it is you are the pilot that gets to help us build programs for the next groups of students. So we'll be looking towards your voice if you're one of the 10 selected students to tell us what worked, what didn't work, what you want to see next, and how we can continue to build an education and learning that meets your needs, right? This is about your learning, and we're just the conduits to help make it happen. So thank you so much. Professor Burho, thank you. So happy to have you.
Yeah, likewise. I'm so excited about the project, and I look forward to hopefully meeting some of you guys in class in January.
All right. Okay, we're going to end the recording now. And again, thank you so much.